3, 2, 1. Hey y'all, my name is Matt DeFranza. Today I'm playing the Seer Council in a Nova test game against Trevor Rowe, one of the team apps. He's going to be playing Summoning Demon List. We got mission number 4 in the Nova packet, so it's going to be Hearts and Homes, I believe is the name of it, so that's the Relic mission. I think I'm going to go into it and try to do the I'm not even sure. The first portion of choosing the primary goal is going to be a big deal, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to be able to go through with that. If I play for endgame, I have to really deal with the summoning portion of his army early. If I do the endgame, or if I do the mid-game, I'm going to have to sacrifice a lot of troops to get there. So I think I'm going to try to go duration of the game, and try to see how that goes through. But yeah, I'm Matt DeFranza from Team Stomping Grounds, and enjoy the game. Thanks.
Hey guys, Trevor Rowe here. I'm going to be playing Screamer Star tonight against Matt DeFranza. So we are playing the Relic. My basic game plan is, try and be more mobile than he is, with the 12-inch move and 24-inch turbo on, all the Screamers and then all the dogs. My basic game plan here is try and pick off the Wraith Knights that can instant kill Fate Weaver, while trying to kind of either distract or tie up his star. So it's pretty straightforward. Definitely most afraid of the Wraith Knights. Don't want to lose Fate Weaver early on to anything like that. So managing them well is going to be definitely how I win this game. So see how it works out.
Hey guys, Jesse here from Team Stomping Grounds.
Kevin here from Team Stomping Grounds.
And we're bringing you another battle report. So this is another Nova test mission. We are playing a Hearts and Homes mission with Vanguard deployment. Trevor Rowe is actually playing his Screamer Star list with Corn Dogs, and has Be'lakor with Cultists as an ally. Loves to get that auto-no invisibility. Really makes those dogs a super durable unit, a really good counter assault unit, because we've learned that the Screamer Star is actually bad in close combat.
Screamer Star is actually bad in close combat. It's good at close combating tanks, but not a whole lot of other stuff. There's better options, especially out of Chaos and Chaos Space Marines. I do like those dogs though. Those dogs are pretty sweet. Yeah, you toss invisibility or shroud on them, makes them really durable against shooting, durable in close combat as well, and then just mass attacks. And DeFranza is playing Seer Council with triple Wraith Knight. Surprise, surprise. So, looking at the mission here, I know DeFranza did pick, DeFranza did go ahead and pick Homes, or Hearts rather, so he's playing for the Relic. He deployed all of his Wraith Knights on the table, and then they went ahead and they started their game. Now, Trevor scouted forward the dogs. I don't know why he chose to scout it forward. I really think that's actually a play mistake on his part. Mainly because you don't want that council to get that turn 1 charge. Yeah, you don't want council to be able to charge you. I mean, I guess in theory he can get the charge and be out of Wraith Knight scary, but then those Wraith Knights just get into combat and just start punching things in the face. I would much rather have the council, if it's got to be in combat with something, be in combat with the Screamers. They're far more durable than the dogs. And the dogs be in combat with the Wraith Knights and just play the Forever War. Absolutely. You throw invisibility on them and just kind of go from there. So you leave yourself in a vulnerable spot now. I mean, these Corn Dogs are able to get charged by the Seer Council. Seer Council just sit in there, and at the end of the day, DeFranza is only has a handful less dice than Trevor does. The infamous Psyker dice? Yeah, so DeFranza is able to just hold his dice and throw them all at invisibility and try to dispel it, allowing his council to just eat those dogs. Now, is Trevor doing any summoning in this list, or is this primarily a protect units and try to dish out damage Psyker? Every single model that could take summoning takes summoning. I mean, all of his heralds, except one herald. One level 3 herald goes in divination for prescience. The other ones are they all get Flicker Fire, and then all the summoning spells. You have Be'lakor, you have Fate Weaver. Basically, right now he's stuck in combat, but his dog survived. So his game plan has to be, how do I get first blood? Well, it looks like he did lose a good bit of those dogs. He did lose a lot of them, but they're not gone, which is important. So it's now play for first blood. So he tries to put himself in a position to Size Shriek, Flicker Fire, kill the Wraith Knight. He doesn't. And he ends up losing the remainder of the dogs in the combat to the council, giving up first blood. Now, my big concern with this is
I understand the gameplay, and he's trying to stay away from the council, but you've literally just allowed yourself to get charged by a Wraith Knight, and we all know that the Screamers are not going anywhere against a Wraith Knight.
Yeah, and the thing is that you can't really stay away from a council. Council is kind of like a little mini Helldrake. It does as it pleases. It can go wherever it wants. It's so mobile. It can pop out of a dangerous combat if it's afraid of it. It's just, you're not going to be able to get away from it. And, I mean, maybe that's what he was planning on there. Just move up and kind of have that. But the dogs, I feel like, were wasted there.
Yeah. Now, you see DeFranza with his maneuvering here. He has Baron in the back in the ruins. But he has a council member up on the second level of the ruin, giving him the 6-inch unit coherency there. But really, what it's allowing him to do is it's allowing him to pick and choose his thing. He can either go after these Nurglings that are on the hill, which he does charge and kill, and he can also multi-assault into the Screamers. So that's fantastic. It's just allowing them to just dump wounds in there, and 2 up rerollable, okay. You know, but more importantly, you want to hold that Screamer start down and keep it locked up, because if it's locked in combat, it's not doing its main damage outputs, flicker fire and all that, and that's where all the damaging outputs are coming from. So right now, in my opinion, two kind of big misplays have really put Trevor in a weird spot. I mean, he's now locked in combat with his Screamer Star, and he lost his Corn Dogs, so he really has to play from behind. But the nice thing about his list is he's playing a demon summoning list, which means he can just resummon essentially a new army and try to play from behind.
Now against a Seer Council army like this, what are you spawning? Are you spawning troops? Are you trying to spawn the baddie of all baddie, like a Bloodthirster, or or maybe some shock troopers like some beasts? What are you looking for?
I'm gonna go with heavy incursion. I really want to be able to get Screamers, things like that. Things that can keep up with his jet bikes. Get away from the council, but keep up with his jet bikes. Remember, the Screamers don't have to get in combat to be a threat to those jet bikes, because they can all turbo boost over them and do the slash attacks. So Trevor went ahead and he did that. He summoned 2 units of three Screamers. He's locked in combat here. The Wraith Knights are just poking in, and they're doing a good job. I mean, you know, you're eventually going to fail and lose the Grimoire.
Right.
And with just mass wounds, it just, at the end of the day, so DeFranza made the right call. He actually didn't try to stop the incursions. He stopped all the Cursed Earths, which is now giving him a 3-up rerollable and vulnerable save, or 3-up reroll once, which is essentially a 2-up save. And you know how you beat 2-up saves? You just make them take wounds. And the thing is, you know, most of the time, it's like, okay, well, multi-wound, 2-up save, you're pretty okay with that, but these guys are instant death, so every time he fails one, he's just losing a model.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what do we got going on here?
So, DeFranza right now, he feels like he's in complete control of the game, which, looking at the board state, it kind of feels that way. And
he's lost a whole bunch of horrors to that council.
Yeah, the council's killing off horrors and all, but he's really he's starting to move his bikes and all that out while the combat goes. Now, in this combat, the funny thing is Trevor only lost combat by 1 there and rolled boxcars. Fate Weaver rerolled 1 of the 6s into a 6 and lost the whole unit. So now Trevor's playing without a Screamer Star. He just lost 9 psychic dice there. He lost 2 psychic dice from the thing. So he's starting to really feel the sting of lack of psychics. And that means he's not going to be able to reliably summon things now. Again, because he put himself in a bad spot.
Right, and I see DeFranza doing now what I always see him do and admire about DeFranza's gameplay is he thinks about every turns ahead, which is what you should do and what a lot of good players do. But I see DeFranza already starting kind of moving towards scoring to try to getting towards victory, or trying to play for the eventual victory.
I know for a fact what Trevor Rowe does here is epic. Trevor and DeFranza are playing a game, and DeFranza's trying to eat, as you can see with his Chinese food there. So to be a jerk face, Trevor, every time DeFranza puts his food down, Trevor keeps turbo boosting to where his food is. And it throws, you laugh, but funny thing is it actually throws DeFranza's game off just a little bit. And what he ends up doing is he starts to expose some of his Wind Rider jet bikes.
Oh, that's funny. He's playing that mind game, working that mind war.
So, you know, he's exposing some Wind Rider jet bikes. And Trevor or DeFranza's reserves come in. He brings all of his Wind Rider drop bikes on to try to clean up the bike unit or the screamer unit. But their screamers, they're still fantastic at going after his Dark Eldar warriors, things like that. So I mean, Trevor, the game is by far not lost for Trevor.
No.
DeFranza, though, he realizes, like, hey, these couple screamers, they could pose to be an issue. I need to do something about them. So he moves his Wraith Knights, or, he keeps chasing the Wind Rider, or the Screamers down with Wraith Knights, and eventually that's not something the Wraith Knight, or Screamers want. They can't beat them in combat. They can't beat them from shooting. You have to try to make your jinx and just hope all goes well.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but DeFranza has not really lost models yet this game.
I think he lost the Wind Rider drop bike.
Yeah, well, I see that one would-be 3-man looks like a 2-man, but I mean that's strong. Obviously, against Trevor can summon, but he did lose a lot of his summoning power.
Oh, actually, one thing that did happen is right above the hill there is a herald that was spawned from the Seer Council from an 11. So, I mean, he still has it. He's cleaning up the screamers. So right now, like looking at the game, okay, Trevor has cultists, pink horrors, Be'lakor, Fate Weaver left. What do you do? Oh, and he has 3 more screamers. It's like, what do you do? Well, funny enough, you focus on what you can kill. You go after all the troops. You go after the troops.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, in 7th edition, everything's scoring, but you still, I mean, that objective secured is still super important. So if you, I mean...
Here's the big thing he has going for him.
Yeah.
He's playing homes, so he has to get these objectives. DeFranza's playing heart. Now, if DeFranza controls the relic, he gains 5 points.
Yeah. Still has to control objectives to get the full 9, right?
Yes. There's still enough threats on the board to Wraith Knights that he can't afford to pick it up with Wraith Knights or Wind Rider Jetbikes.
Right.
Namely Be'lakor. Be'lakor knowing Psy Shriek, the entire, Psy Shriek is just fantastic. Kairos knowing all of the Lord of Zeech, so Flicker Fire, stuff like that. There's still enough of a threat.
Which we see here, Trevor cleaning up some units.
Mm-hmm. So Trevor knows this. He's now playing the game of, okay, well, the council has to sit at the middle. The council has to grab the relic and hold it. And with that being the case, I now have to take out the Wraith Knights, play for the objectives, and try to tie him and see if we can go into secondaries, see if I can get my secondaries and go from there. So that's basically Trevor's out now. Trevor's out is, DeFranza is forced to play in one particular mission facet, and that's going to kind of dictate where his power is going to be. He has no way of dealing with that Seer Council, but he doesn't have to deal with it if the council itself has to keep migrating to the middle of the board.
Yeah, the council can't really branch out too far, and therefore they're kind of neutered. He can kind of chain link them, do a little bit of stuff, but if he gets charged, they're all for that relic, and that eliminates his possibility of scoring it.
Another big thing to note about the relic is you have to be hyper protective of it with a unit like the council. Sure, it's scoring, but it's not objective secured, and the relic is now an objective marker, which means it can be contested.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you get like an invisible unit or something in there, or late game, or even just swoop over an invisible Be'lakor, because Be'lakor is a monster. I mean, he's got shrouded naturally, so he gets a 2-up cover save for just being around places. Knows all
of telepathy. Yeah, right?
He's Eternal Warrior, Armor Bane, and all that. It's actually something DeFranza underestimates, because he sets himself up to charge Be'lakor with a Wraith Knight. And we're going to find out how that goes for a Wraith Knight pretty soon. But with them not being objective secured, they're just, frankly, you're able to contest the relic. And that's how it went.
Be'lakor punks the Wraith Knight.
Yep, Wraith Knight charges in, Be'lakor kills it before it swings, and DeFranza goes, oh, did not expect that to happen. Again, kind of caught a little off guard.
Still a Demon Prince. It's still Eternal Warrior.
Demon Prince on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, Be'lakor
He's the first Demon Prince.
Be'lakor is good. I heard a lot of people, when Be'lakor came out, I actually heard a lot of people griping, oh, he's expensive, he's not worth it. And some people saying that he's broken. I don't know that he's broken, he's certainly worth it. He's a good model. He's definitely, he's good. He doesn't let you do everything, but he's good.
Now, here's something I want to point out. So, DeFranza has been moving his council around trying to put pot shots on Kairos, and and he's putting these pot shots on Kairos, and then he's reconsolidating around the objective.
Right, he's battle focusing to spread out and shoot and then get back in.
Well, it's not battle focus for the jet bikes; it's the assault move. But he's bubble wrapping so that he can't just land near the relic and contest it.
And because of DeFranza defending that relic there, and also he took that bottom right Holmes objective from Trevor. You know, I mean, he's got a pretty. I mean, if the game ends.
And this will basically sum up the game, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you guys down at Nova.
Thanks a lot, guys.